Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We are just into part 2 of just another little, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a combat, another sort of little combat thing. So what we worked on last time was we made a weapon and we were able to make a block that gave damage to the player, and now what we want to do is we want an accessory that's going to allow the player to resist damage. So I have this really old yard vest that I made, and I just spent a little bit of time here, a couple hours, just trying to get it to work the way I wanted it to. I finally was able to get it to bind to the keyboard, so that makes me excited. So now what we can do is we can start doing stuff with the keyboard. So what I wanted was, we're able to give the player damage, but we're not able to heal the player. So I thought, I'm just using this vest as an example. Let's say it's just a piece of armor like a chest plate that the player would pick up. And so when, so when you press W in this case, it's going to do some stuff. So what we want to do is we need to say, game, get service, get service workspace, and then we need to say find first child, the player's name, and we need to say then within the player we need to find this piece of armor. Then within that piece of armor, what we're going to do is we are going to make the neon dot A dot material equals is that right? Is that right? Let's see, get service workspace. Interesting, it was just working. It was just working. Argument 1 expects string, but instance, I wonder if that has to do with the player's name. Probably. So if we game.workspace, find first child player, and then it's say workspace.vest.model line 8. Model, yeah, .handle.radio .UI controller. I see. So what's happening here is the way that the remote event, something's up here, let's see. Oh yes, so I'm binding the remote event that's in this object in the workspace to the interface. I'm not binding the vest that the player is wearing binding this vest here that is cloned to the player. That is the problem here. So where it is the value.value, this right here, scripted resistors. So So somewhere in here, I wonder if I can just go, I wonder why it's doing that. Alright, so that didn't work. Oh, that is when you activate the button. We are talking about what happens when you walk over this thing here. It clones the vest. So what it should do is then I can say vest dot handle dot radio dot vest dot local script dot enabled equals false. Aha. Oh, I see. And then we probably need to turn off the other script too. Fast.handle, radio, .ui controller, .enable equals false. Let's see if that works. Alright, so it's coming from the player. Yay! And it's giving me an error on the find first child. Gotta be here. I wonder if it's which one it's having an issue with. So it's saying it can't find this, so that means it can't find the player. So we need that. We need that. Huh. Ha. Ha ha. Success. Success. Yeah, success. Alright, so that's how we had to do that. Player.name. Player.name. It was so simple. It was so simple. Okay, so neon is not a valid member of accessory. Alright. So let's figure that part out. Oh yeah, stock handle. Handle. Not neon. Now let's see. There we go. Cool. So we see that it is neon. Now, if we do this, end the input. All right, so now we can say else if, let's see, variable is equal to stop, then we'll go over how to give the how the accessories work and all that. That's going to be coming up. There's going to be a lot of that. I'm just simply showing. We need an accessory and we need to resist the damage. Let's get the accessory working and resisting the damage. So if stop, then we can turn it to, let's see here, there we go, this, and we'll just turn it back to plastic. All right. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell that it's neon. So then what we'll do is there's how many there's up to F. So we'll say A. Let's see here. B, C, D, E, F. A, B, C, D, E. E, F. All right. So now we're kind of making the armor like whatever you want it to do. So when the player presses a button, what do you want to happen on the armor? And you can have all kinds of you have all kinds of effects, all kinds of everything. There we go. Now it should glow. I actually didn't check to see if there's any errors there. There might have been. Yeah, look at that. So it's neon when we run, and then it's not neon when we're not running. So we can still take damage. We can still take damage. Right? We can still take damage. A lot of damage from there. So what we want to do is we want to heal the player. So we want to say game get service, and we'll say workspace. Find first child player.name, and then we want to say .humanoid .health equals plus amount. Now over here we can just make a local for it. Local amount. Let's see. I don't think we need this. Amount equals, and we could say plus 0.001. Let's do that. Alright, so let's get damaged. Alright, look at that, it's healing me. As I'm running away, I'm getting healed. That's so cool. And it glows, it does some stuff. So yeah, so I just hope from that. Done! I'll have to tone the damage down quite a bit. So yeah, so that is gonna do it. So now we have a way of damaging the player, and we have a way of healing the player, which is perfect. And an accessory like this, you can bind it if you want to Robux, or you can make them have to buy like a pass or something to have it. Or, you know, they have to get it as an achievement. Maybe they need to get it from a quest. All that sort of stuff, right? So that's just sort of what we're demonstrating here is ideas. Getting the ideas out there. Maybe you want to make a game, you're not sure where you want to go. This is kind of the base, the very, very beginnings of something like that. Yeah, I think it's really cool. So what we're going to do next is we are going to get an NPC that just going to add to... we're going to enhance this, the dungeon system. Because, you know, there should be some kind of reward. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll speed up the healing a little bit. If we go to 5. See, then we can create obstacles for the player that kind of like... You can't really do much damage. Let's turn that up just a little bit here. Yeah, so at this point, sky's the limit, and you can really start to play around. So we now have an accessory. Where is this classic sword? Okay, mount is going to be like that. Well, I guess now that I have it fixed, I can tune that up a little bit. Let's make it 5. Whoa. Whoa, that's intense. Whoa. Okay. So we will keep that at like 0.8. I guess we could do like 0.5. We could try that instead of 0.05. Yeah, that's a pretty decent amount of damage. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, now that we have the vest and we have the name of the vest, what we can do is in the sword, we can say if hit find first child then yes, that's what we want to do. So if they're wearing the armor, minus amount B is what we can say for that, and then we'll say local amount B equals 0.1. There we go. Yeah, now it does a bit of damage. But not as much as if, say, we don't have the vest. Whew. There we go. So now we've made a variable damage system. And we've made armor. Perhaps I'll crank up the healing on the armor a little bit more. We'll do that. There we go. Yeah, so anyways, I guess what I'm getting at here is we now have the variable combat system. For a hack and slash, what's going to be a really neat hack and slash style game. Now it's just a matter of kind of tweaking the variables, right? And then we can duplicate what we have. We can create more armor, which has different resistances, and now we can create more NPCs, which have different damage values. They look different, and they have different actions. Yes, there we go. And now we truly have, I think, the beginnings of what could be a fun game. So I apologize. That's all the time I have for now. I know it was a little bit between the two videos. It's a couple hours here of just sort of mucking about to get everything in order. But now we have armor and we have a weapon. So basically, the last thing that we want to do is, what I wanted to cover was where to teleport the armor on the player. So essentially, when you build something that you want the player to wear inside the object, you just need to have a constraint, and you just need to name the constraint which attachment on the player you want it to be. So if I want it to be, let's say I wanted him to hold this object. Let's pretend this is a shield now, okay? So what I do is I name it left grip attachment, and then when I clone it to the player, it's going to clone it to that attachment. And now it still does everything that I want. It's just now in a different spot. So when I equip my weapon, I now have a sword and a shield. And perhaps what I'll do is I can bind like the A key, for example, and that might get me into a defensive posture where I hold the shield out in front of the character. So that's going to be something that we're going to be working on coming up here in the next couple of videos. But I just wanted to get that out there in case you're wondering how that works. It's really, really simple, right? You clone it to the player like you normally would anything. You make the parent of the object the player. Bada bing, bada boom. This is the code here. Really easy. You step over the block, and it says, does he have it? If he has it, it removes it. Then it just clones it to the player. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. Right now, just for testing purposes. Now, I don't know if I need to silence these anymore. And if we don't need to silence it, so this would be, essentially you would get this from a quest, and then when the player would join the game, it would be saved that they have this item. And when they join the game, it could be cloned to them, or they could go somewhere where they have an inventory window. We're going to work on that. There's going to be a lot to this one. There's going to be a lot of neat stuff coming up here. Yeah, see, there it is. Bada bing, bada boom. So I'll take damage. And now I'm healing the damage. Cool. So I hope these videos are helpful, and I hope that you're learning little bit by little bit, and you're gathering ideas about maybe how or what type of game or experience you want players to enjoy. So thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing. And I will see you all hopefully in part 3. Bye for now.